night and the Gemini crew.
Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, bringing you Mike in the Night. Oh yeah, it is Mike in the Night. Sit back, spark a nice cigar, enjoy a bit of champagne, heck, maybe a nice cold beer, a tea, a wine, an espresso, a nice cold glass of water, because you're here with Mike in the Night. Dim the lights, open your window if it's warm and breezy, and enjoy the rhythms of the night with Mike in the Night. And yeah, what's going on, people? Oh, you know what's going on. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 3 years, there's a lot to talk through the night. That's why we got to keep our show in the night. Broadcasting from the entire English-speaking world, starting from Auckland, New Zealand, across to Sydney, Australia, north to Melbourne, across to Perth, northwest to London, and north to Dublin, Ireland, west to Scotland, and across the pond to Toronto, across to Vancouver, down to Los Angeles, across to Miami, and back north to New York. It's Mike in the Night. Anyways, guys, what do we got cooking? Lots. We had Mario DeCetti's on earlier today. He is in Italy, and he was brought to tears today with how much it's changed. He said a lot of the towns are turning into third world countries. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good. He's brought the tears, and let's get out to the comment section, because I'm totally not ignoring you guys. Also want to send a shout out to the long haul truckers. Long haul truckers of America. Apparently, I don't know, I was on one of their blogs or forums, and they are listening to me on Mike in the Night. Some of them don't listen live, but they listen on replay. I want to thank them for posting a link. Somebody likes my show and they posted it. So if you're in your Freightliner, Peterbilt, Mack, Volvo, thanks for listening and tuning into Mike in the Night. This one's for you guys. Okay, dang, in the comments, we got the Raven saying Dow 623, you win, Mike. We had a bet going on for a whole $1 of who is going to be right with the Dow. You're going to see it crawl back a bit come Monday morning, but it's not going to be strong enough, and it might go into negative territory again. Cognitive Rue from Australia. Ital for life. Ital's style for life. Woo! 26 Gunter. Low roller scratcher. Ona Irani. Too much going on. Oh, you have no idea. Tyler Paletter says YouTube is being sued by multiple people for censoring and demonetization. Of course. We got GP100 from Seattle. Couple of 3-hour drive away from me here. Dang, 008 again. All right, guys. Jordan Terrero. Roy Mooson, listening from LA. He used to live in Toronto. Roy, if you want to come on the show, add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. I'd like to know what's happening there with this. We know we've been covering the homeless situation in LA County and San Francisco. It's not looking good, guys. London, England is the blueprint to me of the downfall of the housing market. London, England, and Perth, Australia. Those are the two blueprints of the housing collapse. California, Oregon, and Washington State also are blueprints of the homeless situation. In my opinion, every English-speaking country will be gripped with. And Mario DeSetti's earlier today on the show when we did Can't Read Market Talk on episode 3. Can't Read Market Talk is my newest little thing here. I'm on episode 3. Episode 1 was Oil and Banks. Episode 2, We Are in a Recession. And just kind of following the markets as we go along together. And I go live in the mornings, all right? As long as I don't sleep in or something happens, I go live in the mornings, Monday to Friday. And we cover what's going on live for about 30 minutes. My wife's in the comments. I'm going to sleep tonight. Love you too, babe. Love you so much. Andrew Trapman Trading is saying investing. Good day, Mike from Australia. Gold and silver. You got it, buddy, Andrew. Low Roller Scratcher is saying creeping up to 3K. Looking for better rent somewhere else. Yeah. So, Roy, you got to come on the show. You got to let us know what's happening. Your it's creeping up to $3,000. We need to know what the heck is going on down there on the ground in Los Angeles. Yeah, so Mario brought up a really good point. He's like, okay, you buy 10 ounces, 20 ounces of gold. That's great. That's good for you. But what do you do with it if you're shopping, your grocery store is out of groceries like Venezuela. Your gas stations are shut down. What do you do then, right? See, that's why you get into survival mode and you got to start prepping and preparing. Because no one else will prepare for you. A lot of these millennials and the L boys, I call them the L boys because now they're censoring the word with my hand going this way. L. Left word. So the L boys think that the government's going to come and rescue them. Right? So if you think, what happened in Venezuela, it's happening pretty much in a lot of countries that we're not being told of, right? A lot of countries are failing miserably right now, financially. Yeah, Metal Gear, yeah, the loser boys. Yeah, we'll just call them the loser boys. Mike in the night. Okay, so Mario brought up some really good points too this morning. So join, if you can. I'm not sure what the time zone differences are, but join us with morning market talk from Mondays to Fridays. If I get the chance to, I'll do it for you guys. Thank you for the new Patreon supporter. I got 14 Patreon supporters. Woo! So it's good. It's helping. This mic is garbage. I spoke to someone and they told me that it has to do with transport. The transport of the mic. Sometimes it gets thrown around by the companies, shipping companies. So if you want to join the family here, $1 a month gets you a coffee. $5 a month, become a Coprigami, means a captain. $10 a month, you're a consigliere. It makes you basically a consigliere, and then underboss for $25 a month to donate to the channel. There it is, the 13th disciple. He's at 13 subscribers. 13 disciple. So if you want to get on Mario DeSetti's channel, guys, please subscribe. The new me is his first video there. He said he's going to put up some videos of Italy. So let's quickly touch on the markets. We know what happened on Friday, if you remember how over enthusiastic I was on Friday. So the TSX closed at 16,307, down 215 points. S&P 500. S&P 500, 2,847 points, down 75.84. The down was 623. So I had a $1 bet with the Raven. Or was it a coffee? Anyways, 25,628.90 was down 623. I think I said 620. I think it was 620. Canadian to the US dollar, 75 cents. Crude oil barely trying to stay over 53 now, at 53.97. Andrew Trepman is looking for subs too. To his channel there. Guys, check it out. Raven said 700. I said 700? Okay, so I was off then. Okay, I was off. Bitcoin, 13, so around 10,000 US. Gold is pumping along at 15.36 an ounce. So it went up, I think it was 40 Australian dollars, 45 Australian dollars. And that's quite a bit, and that's about 36 Canadian. Russell 2000, guys, remember I told you on last Friday when we did morning market talk, can't read market talk. Okay, the Russell 2000. Remember I told you guys, it's the big players, it's the big movers of the market, the billion-dollar cap companies. Well, I read an article like not even a day after on Saturday or this morning, how all these big cap companies are getting kicked in, or big cap, members of the Russell 2000 are getting their butts kicked, right? Okay, let's keep going here. Now, let's move on to a bidding news before we get into what's happening. We're going to see if we can get Mr. E in the comments. Mr. E is in downtown, like right in the city of Hong Kong, right in a condo, and he's having electricity issues right now in Hong Kong, and he said it's turning into an absolute war zone there. He was in the comments this morning. I said, look, I got to go open my store. It's Saturday. I was super busy today, by the way, guys. I want to thank everyone that came through town to come to see me, that watched the channel. I had 4 people come in today that watched my channel, passing through. I had a guy from Sweden that watches my channel that was passing through my town. Let's hit back the comments here. Walking Journey complaining his YouTube viewership is down. Okay, and then Zombie Apocalypse Gary, thank you for coming back, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while. Mike was closer in price drop prediction, but if you were on the prices right, you would have you would have won. Raven would have won. Yeah, because I overbid on the overbid. So he would have won. Great show tonight, JB747, my man. And the Birdcage City, yeah, Hong Kong. Mike in the Night, Patrick G, PG, thanks for coming in the comments. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. So we got Patrick G in the comments. Guys, add me on Skype, please. Mike Martin's 1980. Please add me on Skype if you want to come on the show. So let's get into a little bit of Zero Hedge news before we move on to what's happening around in and around. Okay, China responds to Trump's barbaric tariff, vows to fight until the end and have the last laugh. China's not going to win this. That's the problem. Yeah, we got G7 summit we're talking about too. Nobody panic. Market will drop on Monday. Mike, gold and silver will fly this week. It's a very strong possibility. You're going to see a little bit of a crawl back when the market's open. And I think you're going to see another 200-point loss on Monday's close. You'll probably see a 2 to 212-point loss on Monday's close. You might see green. I really highly doubt so. Yeah. Tariff wars are getting messy, says Andrew Trapman Trading. Andrew, come on the show, dude. If you have a channel, I'll plug your channel. Come on the show. Yes, rainforest burning for weeks. We got this too. I'm following the news in Brazil. If you guys don't know, Portuguese is my first language. Following the news in Brazil, I'm getting a better insight, believe it or not, from the news in Portugal. The news in Portugal is covering it a little bit more non-biased and giving a little bit more bing for the buck there. So I'm following it more from Portugal because they're kind of really... yeah, so, yep. Yeah, the U.S. needs to devalue their currency. The Raven's right. The U.S. will devalue their currency. The only way you can win in this war right now is a race to the bottom. That's it. It's a race to the bottom, guys. Who can reach the bottom first? It's a horrible race. The thing is, it's capitalism versus communism. I really, really, really dislike the whole Chinese motto. Their whole... everything. Just, like... I'm not talking about their history. They got really pretty girls. All that stuff. Pretty decent food, cool food and stuff. No. I'm talking about the whole... Iron Fist, the whole social credit score, the whole just like their citizens are treated like garbage, and they frown upon Christianity there. There's just a lot of things that I dislike about China's, and I really hope America wins this thing, right? I almost see it like it's an economic war, yeah. Sure. Are we firing shots? Not yet. But I also see a war for religion, and... Woo! Woo! China will defend its core interests of the country and the fundamental interests of the people is indestructible. No. When you're soulless... I'm not saying all China, but when you're programmed to not have a soul, you break. You break. TP, Tyler Pelletier says China will win. Economically, no. You see, China has, 40 million empty apartments? 41 empty apartments in China? Their entire housing market is built on a dome bubble with a bubble, and then a planetarium bubble with a telescope bubble, and then like a hot air balloon bubble. China's just their housing market. They don't even know if it's tricking or treating. They have no idea where it's going. Guntier is saying China is state atheism. Yeah. Bella Donna says China will win for sure. They are geared for it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, guys. It's okay. Think of it like this. Think of it as trench war. China's in a trench. Like, think of it like this. Let's think of it like metaphorically here. 1910, trench wars. China's here. United States is here. China's in their trench. America's in their trench, ready to go over through dead man's land, right? America's side would say, come on, boys. God is on our side. Let's do this. Okay? And China's side would be, yes, God is not on our side, people. Don't worry. We got this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You got to think of it metaphorically, you know? I don't know. Sorry, I meant 1914. Sam Askey is asking me 1910. Sorry. I keep urging people to start their own channels, especially, like, I'm not educated, and I could barely read, and I keep telling people, look, if you know, get out there. Spread the love. Create conversation. China controls technology now, and the U.S. can't make those computer parts in-house anymore. It's a game changer. No. See, here's the problem here. What people are forgetting. America doesn't make those parts anymore because it's not worth making economically wise. They're making it at a loss. America can make anything. You got to remember back at the turn of the last century. At the turn of the 20th century, one of three things were made in America. Right? I'm not trying to take America's side and say, no. I'm with America on this one because economically, they could win this thing. This should have happened during the Reagan administration. Right? They should have put a stop to it when they were selling off our jobs and basically making the Chinese wealthy overnight. This should have happened a long time ago, guys. Ona Irani says you guys need to watch the interview on China with Steve Bannon on Real Vision. Great interview. They set it up, Mike, with GATA. Chinese stole U.S. technology in the first place. The U.S. can get it all, but somewhere else. Yeah, of course. Wages won't drop, just the amount you could buy. Exactly. I have an article here we're going to go over, okay, guys? GATT, says Sam Askey. And the Raven says, I saw it on Oana. Zombie Apocalypse Scary says they're taking a lot about they are talking a lot about gold lately on local radio news stations, where in the past they rarely did, even in 2011 after it went up a lot. Something is different this time. Yeah, something is very, very different this time. Because we're out of outs. We're out of... The house isn't lending any more money out. We're tapped out with the house. We're over-leveraged. The whole planet is over-leveraged right now. We're in an economic state of despair. A guy there was that anesthesian I talked to, the guy that works in the hospital, is the anesthesian guy I was talking to the other day. He can't sometimes even buy groceries. He can't buy food. Sam is asking if I'm going to call Mr. E. I'm waiting for him to come in the comments, either in the comments, and I'm waiting for him to message me. He is offline right now. So I'm waiting for him to message me on Skype so we could find out what the heck is going on in Hong Kong. China no longer has the one-child law. Okay, China and computers are now interlinked. No China parts, no computers. USA is not realistic for manufacturing anymore. Yes, because it's manufacturing at a loss most of the time. If they have to make glassware or sunglasses, it doesn't make sense to, right? GB4747 saying California joke. Jimmy, if you're in Cali, man, let me know what's going on, man. If you're down on the ground there, we need someone. I got to see if I can get Demise Music and Entertainment back on. I need him on the show. I had him on the show last time. He was in San Jose, and I want to know what the heck is going on down there. He did a couple of tent city videos. It's getting pretty hectic down there. It's getting pretty hard. Lots of chatter tonight in the comment section, guys. All right. California governor blames Texas for California's policies that cause homeless crisis. Okay, why would he blame Texas? I get it. All my exes live in Texas. But what the heck's he talking about? California governor blames Texas for California's policy was created by the Californian governor, not the Texas, that caused the homeless crisis. Okay, guys, we got to open this. We got to get to the bottom of this homeless crisis. Yeah, the red jug's upstairs. I got to wash it. California's authoritarian governor, Gavin Newsom, blamed the state of Texas for California's homeless crisis rather than put the blame directly on the policies of California, and instituted that the stifle free enterprise and punish heavily those who produce. Newsom said it's the fault of Texas. How many miles is the state border of Texas to California? I think it's about 400, maybe 600 miles. You still have to go through Arizona and New Mexico. I'm not sure how. Okay. Said many homeless people in the streets of San Francisco are from Texas. Oh, really? Really? In an attempt to shift the blame from himself. Okay, there's another article here. I gotta check this out. Governor Gavin Newsom is responsible for California's homelessness crisis. Say, yeah, let's see what these people have to say here.
We're not from California. By the way, vast majority also coming from, and we know this, from Texas. Just interesting fact.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom blaming Texas for San Francisco's homeless problem. Joining us now is a former California Assemblyman, Chuck DeVore, who left that state and moved down to Texas. He's the vice president of the Texas Public Policy Foundation. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Ainsley.
Explain to the viewers how it is Texas' fault that California has a homeless problem.
Well, I think what you're seeing here are the words of a desperate man that we should almost feel sorry for. Governor Gavin Newsom has been in office now for 22 straight years, starting...
Isn't that like Marx imperialism?
At the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. He's had responsibility for the policies that have created California's homeless crisis.
Well, why is he blaming Texas? Where does he get that?
He gets it because San Francisco has this program where they give bus tickets to people who say they have friends or relatives that can take care of them. They can take them in. And of the people who go out of state, the #1 destination is Texas for 6.7% of the people in San Francisco. They have friends or relatives that in Texas that...
They had an episode of South Park about this. I don't know if you guys remember this, right? All these homeless people were showing up in South Park, and it got into a really huge homeless crisis. And what they did was they had to get this, they had to send them back to San Francisco, right? Or to California, where they originally came from.
Have agreed to take care of them. That doesn't mean a majority of the homeless in San Francisco come from Texas. It means that Texas is a popular destination, as it is for all Californians like myself.
Yeah, why did you decide to leave?
Well, California has a very high cost of living. It has
Yep.
very burdensome regulations and taxes.
Communism.
There's more freedom in places like Texas, more opportunity to do what you want to do. And the challenge in California with the homeless problem really comes down to three things. They make it too difficult and too expensive to build houses. They botch criminal...
And expensive to build houses, why? It's all the red tape and the bureaucracy and all the Mickey Mousing to get a building permit in California. You got to pay through the nose to get anything done in California nowadays.
Justice reform where they emphasize reducing the prison population rather than improving public safety. And lastly, they're having a tremendous problem dealing with mentally ill people. California has this tremendous issue where they don't want to involuntarily commit people. San Francisco's just started to do that in June. It may make a little bit of a difference and help out, but there's a lot of special interests there that don't want to do that.
Low Roll Scratch says Chinese are buying all the houses in California. That's been happening for the last 10 years. So we got my girl in the comments here, Elizabeth from Mississauga. Thanks for coming on. Chat. So that's that. So I mean, sorry, I had to get into that to kind of find out. So it just traces back to delusionalness. All right, YouTube banning robot fighting videos over animal cruelty. Do you know what happens, guys, when we starting this crap or creating bans and stuff? It's almost impossible to irreverse. Do you understand, guys? YouTube banning robot fighting videos over animal cruelty. It's like saying YouTube banning robot fighting videos over toasters. I'm going to move on. What globalism did was to transfer the U.S. economy to China. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show. Sold out our jobs, and then now... Policing for profit, how civil asset forfeiture has perverted American law enforcement. So civil asset forfeiture, basically, they want to search your house, and then some states or some counties have a law that if they see anybody breaking, or if they're breaking a law in that house, they could the state could seize it and put it on auction. Okay, we got Evan in the call here. Hold on, Evan. Let me call you back in a sec here, buddy. Are you here? Hold on. We got Evan in the call here. Here he is. He's here. So let's move on to really quickly here with the Amazon fires. Let's move on to Hong Kong. Let me get him here.
Mr. Mike.
Evan. Easy E. How about you?
I'm still undergoing my rapping career, Mike. It's quite easy, I hear.
So,
what
okay.
were you talking about missing videos, Mike? What's this about? Have videos gone missing, or was this related to the article?
Videos gone missing?
Oh, you know, videos getting taken down.
No, my Australian housing videos from like 3-4 years ago were just mysteriously all taken down.
That is very curious, Mike. Every single one of them?
Not all. No, not all. Maybe, I don't know. Like totally. When I go onto my channel and I view it when I view my channel from my video game review channel, and I play my videos, like as I'm playing it in the carousel, and it says, some videos have been deleted.
But are those the only videos that were targeted, Mike? There weren't any others, were there?
No, there was another video that was targeted about empty houses in China.
That's unusual.
Yeah, and then it's just
like
real
they're
estate.
very specific choices, Mike. These
just real estate stuff.
takedown.
You know?
But how is the show, though, Mike? How's it all going?
It's going fine tonight, buddy. But we're actually more concerned about you and your situation right now, because we were actually You were actually in the comments early this morning before I opened my shop. You were discussing that it's turning out to full-out warfare. So here's a couple articles. Hong Kong riot police beat protesters in anti-surveillance rally?
They do. They beat the life out of them now with metal-tipped truncheons with little studs on them. There was one particular video of a poor little noodle-necked fella getting dragged away, beaten, pepper-sprayed, kicked, and then pepper-sprayed some more, and then they arrested him. So a lot of nice stuff going on here, Mike. But, I mean, we all know about niceties, I suppose, and these police are some of the nicest I've ever seen. They really have dedication to their job. Spreading truth and justice, as it were, with a pointy stick.
Okay, someone's saying my volume has dropped. I don't know. I got to get a new mic. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the heck is going on. Yeah, it's really tough to get this mic.
That's for sure.
Huh?
It isn't good, that's for sure, Mike.
$300 mics every 2 months? Yeah.
You're burning through them. Lucky you have that coffee money. You just have to build that up for 100 years and you'll have a microphone mic.
Yeah, yep. 120 years, you're right. Okay, so I'm getting a video here from Hong Kong of a lady. It looks like she's getting dragged for some areas. There's a bunch of... Wow, this is turning into what Venezuela started out as.
It's a shock tactic, Mike. They're using shock and awe and pure terror now. They let off for a day, and now they're back to tear-gassing people. You know how it is with people when they're exposed. You know, once people have recognized that the police were lying, I mean, it's the case with anybody who's lying, really. If once they're exposed, they tend to go on the offensive to try and silence people. And that's why people are getting clubbed and gassed and pepper sprayed. They don't use tasers here. They really like to club a point home, if you know what I mean.
I'm not liking this because I think that the police should stand side by side with the demonstrators, because these police have families.
They do, but they've got comfortable jobs, Mike. And you know, when you're comfortable, you tend to not want to follow necessarily the best course of action, you know, the right and true one. When your survival and your image is concerned, and a lot of police are worried about survival and image and their livelihood, because they'd lose their housing, they'd lose their comfortable salary, 20,000 Hong Kong dollars a month, and every year you get an annuity of 1,000 added to your salary every single year. You can retire comfortably, but I'm sure they're all getting overtime pay now. Where's you out beating up people? Okay.
Law and crime violence returns to Hong Kong streets on the 12th weekend of anti-government protests. Man, time flies. So, how you still going to work?
Yes. I still walk through these protests, Mike. I've been tear gassed. I've had police not shoot me, but point the gun and say, we're going to shoot you. That's always fun, because I snuck up behind them by accident when Collins' aeroplane exploded mid-air, and I was sent back to Japan, you see, before he even got on the plane, because he never got on that plane.
What? E-Bank-Q didn't even make his flight?
He didn't make that flight on the 5th, Mike. That was the day they shut down the airport, and he booked that 6 months in advance. What are the odds that that's the only day he wouldn't be able to fly? So I went to his hotel, of course, and that's where they were having a massive crackdown at the time, near the old wooden door of Sun Mun. And the riot police had just started mobilizing, and of course I gave him a call. I say, well, where are you? And he said, I'm not there. And I said, oh, noticed that. And I walked down to where the police station was, which was right next to the hotel, right next door. And they were just mobilizing shields and guns and tear gas all flying away. And I walked right behind them. They weren't particularly happy about that when they noticed, after about a minute, that I was behind them on the phone to oldie Benko. They turned around and shrieked at me to get away, and they pointed their guns directly at my face. That was fun.
Wow. That's so,
no shortage of fun.
Wait, you're still making your way to work. You're still making your way. It's grocery shopping. Is everything okay in Hong Kong to do that stuff?
I guess the way to put it, Mike, is whenever the conflict arrives, that district or area will be shut down, you know, when there's a particular area or topic that they don't particularly like, whether it's protesters or police, if they have a bugbear that they don't want to touch, that whole area gets shut down. So, you know, no one will talk about it. You'll have all the live streams, but nobody will talk about it. It's as if that very topic and that very area gets erased, and then the police come in, club everybody, and then you'll have the news spinning it, of course, saying those heroic police getting those violent terrorists.
Wow. Okay, so this all erupted from
The
Hong Kong,
extradition bill.
the extradition thing, where if you break a Chinese law in Hong Kong, they want you back in China.
If anyone breaks a Chinese law in Hong Kong, that means foreigners as well. So let's say you're a US dignitary or perhaps a consulate worker for the British, and you're on your way to Hong Kong and you get arrested in Hong Kong. They'll drag you back to China, where they've got a 99% conviction rate, aka if they think you're guilty, you're guilty. There's no actual trial, only a show trial where you have to admit your guilt.
So in China, is you're guilty. In China, is you're guilty until proven more guilty.
Oh no, you're just guilty, and the rest is just a show. Like most places, Mark. I mean, in America, it's very similar. You don't have, what is it, habeas corpus, do you? They've kind of shut that down, which is a bit of a shame, because we had a very good judicial system here until they decided to not have a very good judicial system here. They thought it wasn't very fashionable at the time, so they decided to go the total tyranny, which is what we have now. The courts probably aren't doing anything, because the police are now the judiciary, and they'll arrest anybody they like.
So they're like Judge Dredd.
Oh, well, there's a lot of little Judge Dredds with their little sticks and their little helmet. They're all very little, Mike. Not
They're
big
the
as
law,
they-
the judge,
Big as
the...
100 of them.
Okay, now let's scoot over across the pond there to Portuguese China, Macau. Are they being affected by this?
They're trying to protest right now. I think they're going to have a bit of an issue too, because they already accepted the extradition bill, because Chinese money is good money. The Portuguese colony, Casino City, Oldie Benko was over there. He didn't have an issue. But I talked to my friend, you know, in the restaurant business, and he said it will be absolutely horrendous. Anything goes down. It only takes one person to die, and you'll have blockades in the Chinese army. That's all it takes. Just one person on either side. One.
Remember
One
when
person.
I don't know if you remember when I was talking, I think, to the Raven the other day. I said, Raven, it only took one guy in Austria to get assassinated to start a multi-million death war.
That's right, and they made a record band out of him, didn't they?
Yeah.
Old Fran, Ferdinand.
Yeah. Okay,
But
so...
the thing is, in Macau, Mike, I was going to say, all of the food and supplies don't go directly to Macau, they go through Hong Kong. So if there was a blockade here, that's the end of Macau too. It'd just be a chain reaction across the region. And then you've got Taiwan to consider. America just sealed the $8 billion deal for F-16. China wasn't happy, of course. There's a lot of people talking and posturing, Mike. You know how people like to talk.
Mm-hmm. Well. In all fairness, I know that it was Wednesday. Portugal is sending a support ship to the Macau area, and so is I think Brazil is also sending something. From what I was watching on the Brazil news, huh?
They'd be a bit paranoid, Mike. But remember, the Americans wanted to set sail and more in Hong Kong. Chinese told them no on numerous occasions. You can't park your ships here anymore. Used to be a common thing. American warships, Navy sailors getting drunk, dancing with the midget Filipinos.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not happening anymore. All ship traffic of that sort has been banned. Not allowed to bring the American ships in here anymore. So we've got a partial blockade, but we haven't got a total blockade yet. Once we do, there'll be no in and out.
Because I know there's two ships right now stationed in Portuguese Timor, two from Brazil and one from Portugal. And I think those are the ships that they're sending to that region or that area, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is very possible, but the Chinese might have something to say about that, depending on their intention. You never know, Mike. If they can turn the Americans away, I don't think the Brazilians have much of a hope of parking their car, even if it is their own car park. Chinese are rather tyrannical when it comes to keeping things under control. They'll suppress information. They'll erase what they don't like. They'll prop up what isn't true, and they'll repeat it over and over again. I mean, that sort of mentality is what leads to these problems, Mike.
Well, it goes back to what you say. If we go back to square one, we go back to square one for what you said from the beginning. It all starts as a conversation.
That's right.
And then it builds.
It was quite a long conversation, but now it's reached one of those impasses. You see, the police can't back down. And it's not even the police that are the problem, it's the government that are using the police as the military at the moment, which they're not allowed to do, but they are. And they're using that to make people distracted by the police. You know, throw a bone out there, people to chase after.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Now, my question to you is, do you have an escape plan? If China goes into lockdown and it goes into martial law, what are you going to do? Hong Kong goes into martial law, what would you do?
Well, it's technically martial law now, but I mean, I wouldn't call it a full martial law where you have the PLA officially on the soil of Hong Kong taking the city back. But the escape plan would be to get out before they close the door. But once that door's closed, it'll just be organ harvest city, I imagine. Any unlikable, any undesirable will just be chewed up, spat out, all valuables taken, the corpse left in the street to rot. That's the Chinese way, but I'm not sure if it will fly. If they would have done something, they should have done something already.
But what if they're prolonging it? Hold on. What if they're prolonging this because of they want to see what happens with these tariff wars first?
Well, you got to remember a lot of these tariff wars, Mike, whatever people may think of them, these people tend to work together. These upper echelons of society, presidents and politicians, all seem to join the same clubs and have the same oaths to the same masters. So a lot of the trade war is a good justification to cripple the American economy and to slow down the Chinese economy, so that overall the quality of life worldwide is what would you say? What would you say? What would be a good word? Attenuated, weakened, and lessened. Yes, that's a good word. Attenuated. That would be the word I would use. They're dragging the whole quality of life down everywhere. This easy money from China creates the housing bubbles. Look at Australia. It's done for. New Zealand's done for. Ireland's done for. England's done for.
Canada.
They've all had the bubbles pop. Canada as well.
Western United States is the blueprint of the homeless situation that's going to happen in every English-speaking country. Look at Los Angeles, California, state of California, 108,000 homeless.
Well, they're going to drag down your living standard, and then they're going to say it can only be this way. We simply can't afford it. That's all they're going to say. They're going to make that the excuse. They're going to say it's just too expensive to live a good life, and we're going to outlaw people who try. And those people will be crazy.
I got the three right guys here saying, I'm sure the riots are backed by CIA. That's why 25% of Hong Kong entire population is protest. Do you think that the CIA has any? Well, obviously, the Central Intelligence Agency has something in something, right? But do you think it's being backed? Like, what do you think is happening with that?
Cuts both ways, Mike. If you look at the marketing for the protesters, they've got the yellow and black, which is the umbrella movement of 2013. Very, very slick marketing campaign. All their posters are very well done. All these videos with emotional music. Look how sad it is. Look, we're fading to black and white. Look, this girl lost her eye. I'm not going to stop talking about it. They go on and on and on. But they don't go to the heart of the matter. It's not the police brutality that's the problem. You see, if you have that extradition bill, it doesn't matter how brutal the police are, does it? If you've got that extradition bill, you don't have Hong Kong anymore. The original point seems to have been lost.
But
And the
a
good
lot of
marketing
people watching this.
campaigns on both sides.
Well, but Evan, a lot of people watching this right now have no idea how bad or how much of a problem it would be for a world without Hong Kong. People don't understand
It's the financial capital of Asia. There's only three. You got City of London, Hong Kong, and one more. Which one is it, Mike? That's easy. New York.
Washington D.C.
I would have said New York, Mike. You know, the New York Stock Exchange, Wall Street. That sort
Oh,
of
I
area.
just said Washington D.C. because of the capital of America. Like,
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll let you off.
well,
on
if
that
you
one,
want to
Mike.
do New York, then you have to say Albany.
I suppose you would. But then again, there's lots of areas of America that have been carved out that Americans don't have jurisdiction in.
Yeah.
Any of those international UN sites aren't actually American soil.
And foreign banking that I can't even mention on my channel.
You can't mention a lot of things, Mike. For example, I was just chatting on another live stream earlier, and you can't put the word Exmouth and hexagon in the same chat message, which is very peculiar. That's one of those heart weapons, Mike, in Exmouth, Western Australia. Giant hexagonal thing. I think I showed you before. You can't put it in a chat anymore, so they're retroactively removing chats and erasing chats and banning chats. So eventually we won't be able to talk about anything. So we've got to talk while the talking's good.
But then if we have to rely on the mainstream or lamestream dinosaur media for information on what's going on, then we haven't trusted the mainstream media pretty much since the late 90s. How are we going to convey our messages or kind of talk between each other as human beings, just having a basic conversation?
Oh, any detractor you arrest, you call crazy, institutionalize them, or arrest them, however you want to do it. And then in a couple of generations, no one will remember anything, Mike. Still there.
Well, we won't be alive to tell people.
Oh, that's right. I know, but no one will be alive to tell people. You'll be separated. The family will be destroyed. That's what they want. They want the state to be the family. And then you've got your 1984 Brave New World scenario.
Yeah, 1984 by George Orwell. He switched around 1948, the year he was in, and switched the two numbers around to 1984. And,
right, and if you combine that with Brave New World, you've got the formula they want. Just mix the two together, and that's what it is today. Technological dystopia.
Okay, I got here. This was sent to me by Three Right Guys Gaming Podcast. That's Mr. Leaf there. Liberal Party membership forms distributed at pro-Beijing rally against Hong Kong protests. So they're getting people, they're just sending membership forms for people to sign.
Also, Mike, we've got the triad here, the organized gangster types. They're very pro-China too, surprise, surprise. And they are aided by the police. They went around beating people up in train stations, shooting fireworks in the crowds, and generally being rather violent. And yet they get a free pass, see? It's funny how they can cover things up like that by erasing the fact. But there's plenty of evidence to suggest that you have collusion between the police and the triad. It's always been the case since the ICAC was formed. They still have that.
Okay, but this reminds me of when the Rolling Stones hired the Hells Angels as security during the Woodstock party.
Oh, well, you see, you can throw the triad at people, and you don't have accountability. See? Oh, look, the criminals are attacking. That's no good. We had nothing to do with it, except we gave them the sticks and the weapons, gave them all nice white shirts. Nice white shirts. You know?
Oh, look, the Canadian Prime Minister is here. Trudeau says Canada won't back down yet, but I'm not going to listen to what the hell that guy's saying.
Oh, very good. He has a lot to say, Trudeau. Castro's kid, last I checked, wasn't it?
Yeah. I would pay. I would actually forward $100 to some organization. I don't care where it goes, just for that to be kind of checked out myself. I would actually donate money to that cause. To be very, very frank with you, I would love to find out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Was there any other question, Mike? Because I'm about to go into a war zone.
You're going to go back through the crowds?
I'm going to go back through the crowds. I don't know if you can hear the background noise. It's rather loud here. It's going to be louder when they start firing the tear gas again. But, you know, you get used to it after a while. You take your rice out and you pepper your rice with some pepper spray. Add a bit of tear gas to your milkshake and you're doing all right.
Well, Evan, you know what? Evan, stay strong, buddy. Evan, stay strong, okay? Stay strong. Pray to God. Mm-hmm. And know what you're doing is right. And I appreciate you coming on the channel here from Hong Kong and giving us a little bit of an inside scoop with basically your line of sight on what you're seeing there.
Of course. Ibenko had a message. He said, PMO for life. And I'll just say, be always kind and true. All right?
That's correct, sir. God bless you, Evan, and please stay strong, okay? We'll be praying for you.
Will do. You enjoy your show, Mike.
Thank you, Evan. So that's Evan in Hong Kong. Lives in one of the towers in downtown Hong Kong. And he's going to walk through a crowd of people right now in Hong Kong. To get to where he's going. I think he's on his way to work. Or there's about 7-8 million people living in Hong Kong. We're approaching $10 10 o'clock right now, guys, local time. Let's get where's the Raven? I gotta get the Raven on here real quick. Ravy. I hope he's sleeping. Hope it'll wake him up.
How's it going?
Is this the Raven Graven?
Yeah, it's the Raven. Everybody's raving for the Raven, yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Okay. I'm getting mic issues here. I'm getting feedback from the mic. I don't know what's going on, dude. I got to spend another $400. You know what they do is they have software for these things, okay? Yeah. And then when they realize you've had it for so long, they could easily short circuit something in the mic if they have to.
I don't know.
Okay, fine. Don't believe me. Anyways, food prices soar in Argentina as the peso devalues.
Let me turn my alarm off here, Mike. Okay. Argentina, yeah, they're having problems.
Yeah,
I wanted to say one thing. I did some research today on gold and silver, 2011, 1980. I was looking at the prices and what was going on in the world, the geopolitical problems, the economic problems, 1980, as opposed to 2011, as opposed to today. And I actually wrote it down here. I wrote down the $49.50 in 2011, April 28th. Silver hit $49.50.
I remember that. I bought my silver maybe 3 months before that. I piled up a bunch of precious metals just a few months before that.
Yeah. So in 1980, it also hit pretty close to that. It was right around $50 in 1980.
So 1980 buying power for 2011 $50 would be about $170 in today's money.
Yeah, but what was going on in 1980? You came out of inflation, Volcker, the 70s. We were come a tail end of inflation, and it was still quite heavy inflation. I just don't see the reason for silver to hit $50 in those years. There was 9% unemployment in 2011. There was Libya, Syria, some geopolitical issues there. Nothing compared to what today is. Today is a war zone, and we're sitting at $17 silver. I'm trying to figure out what was going on then that's not going on now, and it's the opposite. Everything's going
back then. There was a lot more regulations on creating derivatives and creating IOUs and gold and silver certificates. It was a lot harder to do that, and the banks were very heavily regulated back then. Now they've removed all these different regulations in the banks, allowing them just to go ahead and print off silver certificates. And the problem is, we don't have anywhere enough silver to fill those orders that people bought certificates. So listen, I did a video this morning, and I talked to Shanghai Larry this morning. He called me, okay?
Yeah, I watched that video.
Yeah, so Shanghai Larry calls me, and he's in Macau, okay? So he gets over to Macau. He can't call me from mainland China. So he calls me from Macau. And he tells me that Chinese right now, this is the video right here, are buying 30% over spot gold price to get their hands on it. It's going to become like the housing market. Oh, that bungalow is $2 million. Well, I'll pay $2.5 million for it. The same thing's going to happen for gold because everyone wants the physical. They don't give a crap about a piece of paper by some institution. People want their gold in their hand and they want to hold it. And that's what's happening right now in China. And he's telling me that gold and bullion dealers have shut down early, like 2 days in a row early, because they're running out of stock.
That's why the premiums are going up. It's what happens when it gets tight. Premiums go up. It happens here. It happened in the States. One of the states, and then Canada's one of the mints going to start running out of silver and gold again. They were running out of silver like a few times in the last 5 years. They've run out at least twice that I remember reading about, and probably more than that. But premiums started to rise here too. Look at junk silver. How much did that premiums on that stuff went up crazy? It was like 50% premiums on junk silver there for a while, a few years ago.
Yeah, no, you're 100% spot on that. We got gold future. Now they can suppress prices of gold with paper contracts. Yeah, naked stock buybacks. We never had that, and that's 100% spot on there too, Raven.
Yeah, back in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I think they're trying to suppress it. They have to be suppressing it. Like, why are we at $17? It's so stupid. I can't believe it. Look at what's going on. I know you're watching the whole world. You're seeing everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. You can take 1980, you can take 2011, you can add them together and times it by 10. We are past that today. We're at $17. Blows my mind. I can't believe that we're at $17 silver, $17.40 or whatever it is. Unbelievable.
It did go up 26 cents the other day.
I think it went up 34.
Did it close at 34?
Yeah, but Trump didn't give us retaliatory tariffs until after the market closed. So I think we go straight to the red on Monday.
We might go straight to the red. We'll see what happens on Monday. You know how they always find ways to get it to pull back early morning and then die off towards the end. You know that, right?
You know, it's such a manipulated world that who knows what they're going to do. Maybe it jumps up 700 points. Who knows? It's out of control. Out of control. I underestimated Trump's tweets there on Friday. You were right. I missed it by a bit there.
That's okay. That's why you got Mike Martins.
Yeah. My go-to guy. Yeah.
And you know what the funny thing is, Raven? Your go-to guy is a guy you could actually physically meet. Today I had 6 people come into my store that watch my channel.
Yeah, okay.
So a lot of these people that you see talking and all these celebrities, you can't meet these people. You know? I'm not saying I'm a celebrity, but anyone could come and meet me. You know?
Yeah. We can find you.
Anyone could find me.
Okay.
What's going on here? I'm just reading the comments right now. So, we got elections on the horizon here. We're almost in September. What's going to happen in the Canadian elections? Are we going to see a change, or is Canada going to still...
You know what? I don't care what Canada does. It is such a small player. I watch the Bank of Canada a little bit. Mm-hmm. I watch it a little bit. Curious a little bit. Don't really care about Canada. I live here. It's not a factor in what's going on. Europe, China, Japan, and the United States. And I've cut out Japan and the United States. It's coming down to China and Europe, and I'm leaning towards Europe now. Mm-hmm. I'm leaning towards Europe because of the Italian problem, the PM resigning. They got a massive banking problem there. And somebody said earlier they think Italy will be the next to leave. I don't think they got time for that country to leave. I think it's all going to just come down. And with Brexit there, they got too much going on over there.
See, the problem with Italy leaving, we had Mario on the show this morning, and Mario was saying, how he just can't like Italy driving through certain parts looks like an entire third world country.
Yeah.
So
it'll be the Western world soon. U.S., Canada, Mexico. It's all going to be the same. It's all going to be.
Destabilization of Western society is I guess it's working. It's coming together. I guess for I don't know who you want to blame for this, but it's coming together and it's working quite fine. And basically, you start using words as weapons, whether it's racism, whether it's left, right, up, down. They
You're
start
right.
using words as weapons, and countries are now using currency as weapons.
Yeah, there's no unwinding it. You're right. You said that earlier. When you start banning things, you can't reverse it.
Nope.
And it gets worse and worse. And where's it end? You know, they want to ban the white guy on the sign, "Do not walk." You know, because it's a white guy.
It's white because you could see it at night and it's reflective. Essay.
You know what? Make it black. The whole sign black. No one sees it, and they let those people walk out in front of cars. There you go. The ones that want to ban it.
Oh my God, it's getting, and then I heard that I was at my store. I should have made this video. I didn't make this video. I was in my store. It was Friday. No, it was Thursday. Thursday was very hot. It was like 36 centigrade, okay? Yeah. I had my air conditioner cranked. And I had a lady come through, look around, and I'm like, "Hi, ma'am, how are you?" She's like, "Oh, this, that, good." She's like, that it's very...
Strange that you're wearing a thong?
No. She was saying that it's against women or something for having the air conditioner too high.
Really?
Yeah, not against women. She said you're anti women or something for having your air conditioner.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm not making this up, man. I don't even know what to say. It's like you're very anti-women or you're against women for having this air conditioner on so high.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what, though, Mike? She's entitled to her opinion.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
But the problem is back to that article I read that California's homeless problem is Texas problem. It's because of Texas.
Yeah. Disillusioned.
Oh yeah. The problem we're having right now with this tariff war between America and the U.S. is you got to blame the toaster. We got to ban toasters.
Well, if everybody in China bought one,
I know
we'd have silver. There you go.
Yeah. You're right. You bring that up, but you bring it up with good. So, what do you think? You think people, bullion dealers are closing early? I did this video here. Bullion dealers are closing early, 2 days in a row, Thursday and Friday, because the Chinese are buying up gold in frenzy.
Yeah, and their government tells them to buy gold.
Yep, they did. They issued it like 3 days ago. They actually said, start buying gold, people.
Yeah, they tell them to invest in the stock market. What did they say a couple of years ago? 66% of China doesn't. 66% of people that invest in the Chinese stock market don't have their grade 12. The government are telling them what to do. Invest in this, invest in that. They're different, eh? They think and operate different. But our country should be telling us. Like at the point that we're in now, they should be showing us how to grow food. They should be subsidizing gardens and stuff like that, handing out seeds and subsidizing farms and everything to help us if we run into a situation where the chain breaks down, at least we can feed ourselves. They don't care.
Last time you were on the show, you talked about planting gardens and getting people getting their hands dirty and stuff and kind of understanding and be at one with the land. And that brought something up in my mind. I should have brought it up last show, but do you know that when they decriminalized and legalized drugs in Portugal, what they did was they created dissuasion centers. And with those dissuasion centers, you know what they created you had dissuasion center meetings where you go, if you are basically, on the fence with drugs and you can't get off it. Portugal is the only country on the planet where drug use is a sickness, not a crime. And you know what they did with those dissuasion centers? Of the two days a week they meet, one day of the week, they're in the garden planting.
Oh, yeah.
They're planting crops. They're learning how to go into the parts of the country and like 40, 50 minutes out of the city. And they spend a whole day planting and watering and harvesting and actually talking to each other. And that's what they do in those dissuasion centers. I thought they just sit in a classroom and talk about how bad drugs are. No, they actually go out and plant and motivate people to grow again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, our government over here is more worried about taking ingredients off labels and what they have to show us and what they don't have to show us and certain things on there that they should be putting on there. They don't have to, they're not looking out for our best interests.
Yeah. Why would they educate us in the first place? Why would they want to overly educate us in the first place if they don't want us to know anything?
I was watching an old Kyle Bass video today from 2011, and he said, "Don't listen to your government. The tequila war there in Mexico in 1994. The day before they devalued the peso, the government said we will not devalue the peso. There's no way. The next day they devalued it 60%.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the government.
They actually removed a zero from the peso, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't listen to them. They're not. It's all I'm pretty sure everyone in your room there knows what's going on. Just operate that way. Don't listen to them.
Mm-hmm. It's really, really, really. It's almost putting words towards what's happening right now. It's almost impossible because one, we can't, and if we do, we get shut down. And it's almost like we're in absolute total control. You have to know how it feels on my end, Raven, when I'm here trying to talk about things without, be careful I don't cross a certain line or I'll have the police at my door and taking me away in handcuffs, right? I offended somebody, huh?
Yeah, we haven't crossed the line yet. But who's to say in 5 years they don't look back at your videos and say, you know what? You guys are part responsible for what happened. You were escalating the situation by saying the things that you were saying on YouTube. So we're going to hold you accountable for that. We're going to label you as domestic terrorists because you guys were exciting the situation. You were spreading the situation. You were, in 5-10 years from now, when they look back, or in 3 years or whatever, they start looking back and going, you know what? That's wrong that you guys were doing that. Mm-hmm. Who's to know? Who's to say that?
Yeah.
I don't really.
Someone says, Mike, aren't you scared of a job position or something? If somebody, an employer looks you up and looks at your past or whatever, aren't you afraid of a job position? I'm like, I'm 41. And if I got 24 good years left in my life, I'll be very happy, okay? And I've been working for myself pretty much since I think it was 2006. 2004, I think. And I never looked back. I've always found ways to work, to make income. Like I've always found a way to make money and support my family, right? So I'm not worried about that, but a lot of people say they're like, Mike, I would call into your show, but unfortunately, if my boss knew I called into to a show like yours, I'd get fired.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I have so many people from Australia that tell me the same thing. In Australia, though, they tell me, if I can't even comment in your comment section.
Yeah. I would just like to say, if my boss is listening, we are one of the dumbest people I've ever worked for.
Well,
there you go. I guess I'm fired Monday morning.
Well, no, there's 91 people watching, and the odds are like 7 billion. You know what I'm saying? It's there's too many people in the world. So yeah.
They're not smart enough to tune into your channel, Mike.
Mm. Yeah, and all we do is just create conversation. We're not even like solving cancer or debunking the whole, we're just talking and we're creating discussion on where things are going to happen, because a lot of lives are going to be affected by this. Every life.
You can see what they're doing too. That Mark Carney that came out on Jackson Hole and said, I think we should go to a Libra type cryptocurrency. Come on. Like I said, they pick their places. The elites pick their places. They're all in on that, man. They've been in it from the beginning. Who invented Bitcoin? What's his name?
I know that guy.
Yakashito Kamo. I don't know.
Yakamoto, something like that. I know it's a popular Japanese name. Yeah.
Made up. Never happened. Never did it. CIA, NSA. These guys, since the RFID chip was invented or thought of, Rockefeller, back with Aaron Russo, his buddy there, they talked about it. Aaron Russo became the whistleblower. Back in 2000, he said Rockefeller wants to chip everybody. They want a global currency. It's on your chip. They've done this. But everybody believes it was 2009. Yeah, right. Remember the Phoenix? The clues that they gave you? Mark Carney? It's going to go a central bank cryptocurrency. All cryptos are going to be illegal. You're going to use central. And India just announced they want to do that. Go central bank crypto. All other cryptos are illegal. Yeah. Trump's building up that Bitcoin is for nefarious reasons of buying fentanyl and that. They're building up their case to get rid of it. It's easy. You can see their playbook. It's so easy to read. And they pick their places to do stuff.
We got John Smith saying it's the Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just the guy they made up. You'll never know who the real guy was because it was them. Ooh, big surprise there. I love crypto. It's going to do the same thing gold and silver are going to do. It'll be banned before gold and silver, though. But I believe gold and silver will probably be banned, too, because they're never going to let you win. It'll be their cryptocurrency as long as they still maintain power. If we don't have a civil war by then.
But you know what's also giving me shivers at night? And giving me trouble sleeping is people willing to give up freedoms for more security. And the people that are out there causing the problems, or the people that are out there damaging the system, that are the people we need to be protected from, will never nearly make anywhere as much as our freedoms that we lose.
Yeah. They just, the majority of them don't care. They just don't care. Or they can't do anything about it. Even Trump can't do anything.
Do you want to surrender your freedoms, Raven, for more security? I don't think so.
Then you never deserve to have them in the first place. Isn't that how it goes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I don't want to, but democracy kind of goes a little too far in a lot of places too, eh?
Yeah.
You know? Like kids in school that are out of control, and you can't, what do? You can't lay a hand on them. You can't, you just got to let them run wild. Heard crazy stories about school and kids getting out of control, and you can't do nothing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's no rewinding it, like you said. Once you start banning this, banning that, and the whole case of 7, 6, 7, 8-year-olds thinking a boy, oh, I'm a girl. Oh, no, maybe you're a boy. And then adults saying, you know what, you might be a girl, and then giving them puberty blockers and pretty much chemically castrating them by the time they're 7 or 8 years old. Because, he was playing with dolls, he must be a girl. You know what? That kid's not old enough to pick his own bedtime, yet you're thinking he can pick his gender at 7 years old?
That's scary.
The whole world is
scary.
It's all out of it's just way out of control. I don't even like to engage in it anymore. I just, it's too much. You said, the air conditioner.
If you go back 100 years ago and you tell this to people 100 years ago, they would institutionalize you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those white suits with your arms in one of those straight jackets. But things have changed. I don't know what. Are we becoming more?
Well, if you went back 30 years and said we'd have negative rates, they'd institutionalize you.
Yeah. Negative rates? Oh, yeah. They'll say, you're out of your mind, man. Yeah. You're crazy.
If you told them that your house costs 10 times your income, they block 10. You away.
Hey, that's in Nova Scotia. It's like 26 times in Vancouver.
Yeah. In Nova Scotia.
New Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay, Raven, I'm going to thank you very much for coming on and giving us your input on what's going on.
It's always all over the place.
And it is. It's so hard to get a mic in the night that's so on topic because it's impossible. Because one thing leads to another. But you know what? Follow the money and you'll find your answers.
Hey, you know what, Mike? I threw out 500 National Geographic magazines the other day. They were in the garage at the cottage, and I wanted to get rid of them. So me and my brother loaded them up in my truck. And as I was throwing them out, I was looking at the covers because I thought, you know what? There's 500 here. Maybe I could find some. I got one that was from my birthday. I got the moon landing. You know what I noticed after looking at 500 covers of National Geographics from the 40s all the way up to the 80s, the late 80s? I realized what a great country the USA is. Like all the stuff they did, like sending like satellites to space, and Diane Fossey working with the gorillas in the jungle. And you wouldn't believe how much stuff they've done. It's all on the cover, you know? And I realized what's happened to that country, man. It's a shame. Look at all these things that they achieved, and look where they are now. It's very, very sad, you know? I didn't realize that till I looked at 500 National Geographic covers.
Well, when schools are mandated to take down the pictures of George Washington and Andrew Jackson, you know things are not right.
Yeah, here's their 75th anniversary cover right here. It's got a bald eagle on the front. It says, "This land of ours." You know, they were proud back then. 1976.
1976. What year? What month?
July 76.
July 76. Yeah. Images.
Yeah.
Here it is,
it's
people.
got conquering mountain ranges, everything. I just thought that was kind of odd to see that.
This land of ours.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's when schools in the morning used to sing "America the Beautiful."
You're lucky if you can even put a flag outside your house now.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, Raven, before you make me start crying, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Okay.
We'll talk soon. God bless you, okay?
Yeah. All right, take it easy.
Bye. That's the Raven. And that's the issue he's talking about. This land of ours, an American Indian's view. How are we using the land? How are we using our land? 5 noted thinkers to explore. First colony in space. George Washington, the man behind the myth. Kansas City, Heartland, USA. A satellite makes a coast-to-coast picture. Yeah, it's hard to read from that little print there. Through with brotherhood. Okay, let's get America the Beautiful lyrics. Here it is, America the Beautiful. I hope it's not censored online. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruitland plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Yep. All right. It's 10:22. I've been talking for, an hour and a half. Let's see if we could get, we already had Evan on from Hong Kong. We got the Raven on from Manitoba. And let's see if we could get, what's it say? Who else is on here? Na, 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 with brotherhood. Sorry, guys. Where is, Supreme Cannon, where the heck are you? I can't find you on here. Are you still here, Supreme? There you are.
Hola, Miguel.
Hey, ¿cómo estás?
Oh, so far so good. You just exhausted my supply of Spanish, so dos cervezas. That's about it. You're gonna teach me someday, though, right?
Okay.
All right.
Bueno. Bueno means good. Bueno.
Bueno.
Good. All right.
Buenas noches.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruitland plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to
shining sea.
What happened to America the Beautiful?
Oh, there's still lots of it around, man. It's just that those people were kind of pushed off to the side for a long time. You're seeing pushback now. Maybe it's too late. I don't know. But it is happening.
So, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So we got Evan on from Hong Kong, and he's telling us, like, he's got to walk through crowds and get guns pointed at him in Hong Kong.
Yeah, pretty hairy there, man. Not good.
And he's honestly, I think he's putting himself on the line, calling into the show too.
That's not impossible. They're pardon me. They are monitored. I think they monitor phone conversations, and they almost definitely. Well, they regulate the internet. I don't know if it's as regulated in Hong Kong as it is in mainland China, but I think they have all the emails anyway. So, yeah, it's entirely possible that someone's monitoring the calls. But, I mean, obviously with these protests going on, he's not going to be a priority.
Yeah, of course.
Because he's a European anyway. They're not going to touch him. They'll touch him last. Unless he happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So, let's go over a little bit of Zero Hedge here, because I got cut off a bit early.
Yeah.
The feds have lost control. Feds are losing control of the markets.
Well, according to our friend Donald, they are. So the obvious solution is they're probably going to have an emergency meeting and have a rate cut. I don't think they're going to. See, the way things are right now, they'd probably like to devalue the dollar, but every other currency in the world is collapsing compared to it because there's a fella named Kyle Bass. Someone mentioned Real Vision TV, and he did an interview on there. They're one of the only, I think there's like 3 government bonds right now that are positive across the yield curve. One is Canada, the other is the U.S., and I forget the third. But everybody else has got at least somewhere along the curve a negative number. So there's going to be a lot of money flooding onshore into the States. So if they want to devalue the dollar, they've got no choice. They're going to have to match everybody else.
Well, these countries can't even monitor or control their own sovereign debt.
No, well, it's just gotten completely out of control. It's out of everybody's hands. All the central banks could do now really is just kind of do what Japan does and buy their own securities and buy their own bonds. I think the Japanese government owns something like at least half of the Japanese stock market, and apparently they own a large share of the European one now too, because they gotta get all this money out there. The problem is if it's just going into fixed assets, it's not going into the economy, and the Japanese people are not spending. They like to save just like the Chinese do, so they're not interested in being consumerist drones. And that's the thing. A lot of people are losing interest in being consumerist drones. I mean, the quality of life involved in it is just crap. There's a whole social paradigm that's dying in front of our eyes, partly because people just can't afford it anymore, but partly because I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that this is not working. This is not progress anymore. People's lives are not getting better. Anymore, and that's the thing. When you talk about 1984 and Brave New World and all these dystopian books from 80 and 90 years ago, the whole idea was you had surveillance on every street corner. Well, people pack their own cameras, or they pack their own telescreens around in their pocket now, and they pay for them, right? But the point of Brave New World was you had this world where people were appropriately medicated and conditioned basically before birth. And they would just be happy, and they would learn to love their servitude, right? They would just work and obey and consume like that, like they live, right?
Well, but the problem is
that kind of thing.
Modernized or our religions getting in the way of that, right? So,
Well, and they work on that too. I mean, look how liberalized and look how woke and social justice oriented even the traditional religions are getting to be. Like the Pope is a joke. Like he's just a communist. The American evangelical churches, well, they're toast. And the Southern Baptist is having a lot of eruptions because of abuse and infidelity and things like that. And the old Episcopalian and Presbyterian churches, or a lot of them have these old broads wearing rainbow vestments, inviting everybody. The European churches, for the most part, were all state-run anyway. So they were, you collect a government salary. Well, you're going to do what the state tells you to do. Well, every state in Europe is cucked and horribly left-wing. It's just people are starting to look backwards, and they're saying, well, you know what? It stopped being progress probably in the late 80s. It just completely jumped the shark. And there's lots of people, millennials included, that can look back to a time not that long ago when things were still fairly sane. And now it seems like every government and every media outlet in the world is going in a certain direction and telling us how it's going to be. And everyone is kind of starting to dig in their heels a little bit and say, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to eat maggot sausages, and I don't really think I want you teaching anal sex to my 6-year-old. And no, I don't think I'm going to just control my tongue every time I see someone that never lived in this country until 6 months ago tearing up my streets. I don't think I'm going to put up with this. So it's never that, you know what I mean? Like you're starting to get resistance, and I mean it's manifested at the ballot box to begin with, right? Argentina, the direction they've taken is sad, but it's also sometimes you stick with the devil, whoever they had. It could very well be that they're starting to go into recession, and they're blaming the party that they just kicked out of power. Right? Like these things don't develop in a day. We've been saying, well, Canada's in a recession or going into recession. Well, usually it takes, I think it's 2 quarters of negative growth before you can, or economic contraction before you can say we're in a recession. It's a trailing indicator. So we don't know if we are or not. And we won't know until after the fact. It's, when the for sale signs start filling every street and suddenly seems like everybody's out of work. Then you can definitely say you're in a recession. We're not there. I'm not experiencing that yet where I am anyway. It's not great, but Kamloops and Merritt, Salmon Arm, the towns around me, the towns you're familiar with, there were always empty storefronts around. People would come and go all the time. It was just a lot of it, I think, was just bad location, if anything. So it's tough to see. You've got a lot of programs now that are getting to be quite widely viewed, where people are talking openly about recession. If the general sentiment is that we're going into recession, if that's the majority opinion, well, if we're all good contrarians, that would probably suggest that there isn't one coming right up the road here. Yeah, well, CN traffic is down 25% this year, the Raven said. Yeah, I could believe that. But CN, as far as I know, goes mainly to Prince Rupert. So most of the traffic is going to be coming from China or going out to China. But CP that goes through my town, I've seen Union Pacific and Burlington Northern engines also pulling trains. And the trains going to the coast carrying potash and coal, things like that, are rolling about the same speed they were before. It's not noticeably slower, but it's a much busier conduit. So anyway, we've gone way off topic here, so sorry about that. But I'm looking at another Tesla driver spotted fast asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, here he is. Here, his buddy is sleeping in his car, and well, here's a little thing where they're talking about driverless trucks and stuff. Did you know that was it UPS or FedEx? One of the two have been using driverless trucks now for over 2 years, and it was a secret, and they came out on the news a few weeks ago.
Is that a fact?
Yep. They've been using it for years, for 2 years now, and it was a secret pilot autopilot project, and they did it with several hundred trucks across the country.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, long haul, because you did a video when you were in Brampton. A friend of yours has a Tesla car, right, with the autopilot. You just don't want to use it downtown, but on the highways, it's probably fine.
For sure.
Yeah, in the highways, it's wide open. The traffic's spread out. They're probably all 4-lane highways there, or maybe even more. In a situation like that, yeah. As long as they can adjust for climatic conditions, they'd probably be fine.
I'm just playing the video here. What is this? Toast?
Bit of a delay here.
I don't know what this is. This just toast or something. Some lady making toast.
Mm.
Oh, it's a commercial.
Oh, okay. It's not pouring gravy down her pants or anything.
Yeah, no, it's not pouring gravy down her pants.
None of that edgy avant-garde stuff.
Oh, it's just some I don't know. What is this? This is not the video I want to watch. So let's see what's hot on YouTube.
Yeah, other than Mike in the Night.
No, well, let's see what's hot on YouTube here.
That
let's
goes
see
without saying, yeah.
Let's refresh this. Guys, today we're going to go see what's trending on YouTube. 96 watching. Okay, what's trending on YouTube today? Okay, trailer of the Mandalorian. It looks like it's Boba Fett. I could see that getting a lot of views. Okay, let's not movie. Oh, I have it on entertainment. That's why. Okay, I guess. Okay, this is overall. This is the overall trending. Okay, overall. This is media, all the other stuff. Okay, all together, business. Can a chef make a 3-course meal with a toaster oven? Oh my God. Miss Parents mounted this French. First day back to school. New popular girl. 1.6 million views. The girl with green hair taking selfies. What else what else is trending on YouTube here? Why the U.S. drinking age is 21. How to survive 24 hours on a desert island. What? Are you kidding me? I mean, you just go to sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just kill a few hours as long as you can get a drink of water. That's considered a major expedition for a lot of people now, I guess.
This one's got almost 1 million views. Worst reviewed makeup salon. It's just, yeah. So guys, if you want to see me pouring gravy down my pants in a video so I could get 1 million views, let me know. But I don't think I want to sell myself out, you know?
Yeah, no, nah.
All right, let's move on to real stuff here. Okay.
The other problem, Mike, is you're going to attract the kind of viewers that actually want to watch somebody pour gravy down their pants. We don't need them here.
Yeah, that's true. We don't need that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just going to start, oh, Trump is the devil and Hillary should have won and the Electoral College this and Beyond Meat that and the Amazon that, the other thing. And no, we don't need them here.
And we got violence returns to Hong Kong streets on the 12th week of anti-government protests. We covered that a bit already today. Listen to this. Liberal Party, this is in Canada. Liberal Party membership forms distributed at pro-Beijing rally against Hong Kong protests. So they want Liberal, obviously. They want Trudeau to win this one.
Absolutely. Trudeau has just dropped his pants for China. I think they're doing it just as much despite Trump and the Americans as they are anything else, which is foolishness. But we've developed a lot of markets. Like the lumber industry has developed a lot of Chinese markets. It hasn't hit us yet. The Americans are still by far our biggest market for forest products, but they probably are hoping to keep some trade routes open. Plus, there's an outside possibility that we could have American goods come over the 49th parallel and go to China that way.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be impossible. Because it's happened before. Both Canada and Mexico have gotten around, importing Chinese goods into the States just by bringing them in and filtering them through their systems, right? And then putting them into the U.S., even though they didn't build any of it in Canada or Mexico. So I'd be quite fine with that stopping, because it is time for us to start making that stuff here again.
Yeah. So this does not look good for liberals. That liberal recruiting efforts are taking place during pro-Beijing event. So this looks bad for liberals.
Oh, that's not a good look. I mean, that smells like desperation to me. That's not necessarily a bad sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at look at what the Democratic Party in the States has been reduced to. You know, they're not going around to the Midwest and saying we're going to stand up for the American worker again. No, they've gone right into, well, I mean, all the things I've listed before. You know, LGBT and tranny and global this and rainbow that, right? Like, it's just, you know, we're all going to eat cricket biscuits and maggot sausages to save the planet. Like, they just lost their minds. You know, I hope they keep doing what they're doing, because I sincerely hope they never hold so much as a dog catcher position in the United States when they're done. They need at least 2 election cycles in the wilderness just to get rid of their weirdos.
Okay, so we got here Democratic field shrinks to 21 this week in the race for 2020. So it looks like Democrats are falling off the bandwagon, I guess.
Yeah, Joe Biden is just stumbling all over himself, and he's making gaffes that aren't good, and the Republicans are publicizing the squad now. You know, those four ladies that are going around, basically, you know, kill all white men, and you know, just all this. They've got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. I think they're just in denial. Like, I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and it's just a gut feeling of mine. I think they believed 2 or 3 years ago that they were like within a fingernail's width of having all the marbles, and then they could stop pretending. You know, they're just on stage saying it out loud now. And
but Supreme, people don't know how bad it would have been if Hillary won. They think it's bad right now with Trump in power, but if Hillary won the election, oh my goodness, you have no idea how bad things would be today.
Oh, it wouldn't have just been an economic problems in the Midwest. Yeah, they would have cracked down on everything, absolutely everything. It would have been a civil war. It would have erupted into a civil war. I don't see how it wouldn't have. It's not that Trump is the ideal guy either. It's just there literally was no one else. It was the first time since probably. Well, Ron Paul gave it a good shot in 2012, but I mean, the media basically, and the GOP froze him out. The closest was probably what's his face there, Ross Perot, in 92, 93. You know, because he had the money, and there was definitely a movement for change then. And I think he was more of a populist guy.
I wish Jesse Ventura, the former governor of Minnesota, I kind of wish he ran, because he had a good head on his shoulders, and he really, really loves America.
Oh, definitely. You know, he's total patriot. I think the thing about Jesse Ventura, you know, he got control of Minnesota, but afterwards he was involved in a series of shows called Conspiracy Theory, where they went into all these conspiracy theories. I only watched a couple episodes. The thing is that, you know, once you've seen that machine, unless you're a guy like Trump that's got billions backing you and you've been building a network for decades, you take on that machine, you're not going anywhere. He would have been wasting his time. I don't think he could have got the votes, and I think they would have screwed him up totally. The thing about Trump is when those debates were being held. Okay, you know, the first debate they had, I mean, they put 17 people on stage just to try to crowd him out, right? And what happened is he knew why all those guys were there. He knew what was going on. He was able to call Roger Ailes at Fox News and tell him, I'm gonna go. I'm skipping the next debate. I'm not even showing up for it. You know, screw you. I'm not doing this. And Roger Ailes is a guy who left like 15 phone messages on Trump's phone. Like, no, come on, Donald, you got to come back. You got to come back. It's like, I'm showing up and I'm making you $40 million every time I show up for a debate. And you treat me like this, right? Because they know each other. They probably play golf together.
For sure.
That kind of clout is pretty rare. So I don't think a guy like Jesse Ventura could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
He would have been very popular, but that wouldn't have made any difference at all.
Right, like Warren Beatty. Anyways,
Yeah.
Okay, Biden right now, according to this from Real Clear Politics, I don't know how real and clear it is, but Biden is leading the polls right now for the Democrats, 28.8, and then
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders is kind of flopping around at 16%. Elizabeth Warner Pocahontas kind of rose in the polls. She kind of got a little bit of favoritism when she says they need to break up Google and all those things, and she's right. And then Kamala Harris at 7.4. Then Buddy Gigi at 5.
Buddy Gig, yeah.
Yeah, Ulrich at 3. Yeah. Booker at 2, and Yang at 1.
Yeah, and that's just among Democrat voters.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
so that's what we're getting here. So I think Mafia Creepy Joe Biden, I don't think he's up that high. But I mean, when you don't have no one else to go for, I think I mean, if I had a choice, I think the only one for me that would make sense would probably be is Kamala Harris the one that was a former military?
No, that was Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, they punted her pretty quick because she's a peace candidate, eh?
Right.
You know, she was anti-war, and I mean, she is military. She was, you know, we need to bring the troops home. We need to stop trying to control the world. That was part of her shtick. She had a lot of liberal stuff too, but she's been very anti-war. So she's not there anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, she's at 1.4%. She's right behind Yang.
She's at 1.4%. Yeah, no, they just don't. The people that are supporting the Democrats now, they don't want someone like that. They want the way things used to be. So, I mean, that in the end, I think is why Biden is, I think they put him out there. I think he's losing his marbles. I don't think he really wants to do this. It's kind of like I've said before, you know, Hillary will be out on the trail campaigning too, even with all of this Jeffrey Epstein and other stuff going on right now.
Oh, dude, she like the emails and all this crap, and she'd be like, you know, what the heck, man?
Oh, she's so dirty. It's unbelievable. But you don't get into the White House without some crud on your pant legs. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. But yeah, no, she's bad. But they got so much money sunk into her. It's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You know, they're gonna prop her up. They're gonna put a broom handle up her back if they have to prop her up.
So
they're not.
But Hillary's
not
not here.
Go. No, she's not running, but she'll be stumping for whoever runs. They got $1 billion invested in her last investment campaign. Mm-hmm. They're gonna wring these people out. Mm-hmm. You know, they're gonna be longing to go home and just sleep, and they're like, no, you got to get on a plane. Mm-hmm. You got to save this thing. You know, whatever. They sold out. They reap what they sow. That's all. But they haven't got a hope. They absolutely do not have a hope. The only hope I think they have is if Trump, you know, makes a real gaffe. Like his tweets, everyone goes on about his tweets. His tweets are not affecting his popularity at all. Mm-hmm. Because he just says what's on his mind, and people, well, yeah, he says this, he says that. But a lot of things he says, you know, give it a week, 30 days, and either it disappears completely off the news cycle, or it turns out he was telling the truth. You know, he's not dumb.
So this is the latest polls. It looks like Donald Trump is favorable by 41.8%, followed by Nancy Pelosi 35.3%. Mitch McConnell 23.7%, and Chuck Schumer 26.5%.
Yeah, so between Trump and McConnell, you know, you've got a dominating lead for the Senate and for the presidency.
That's right.
Yeah, like
it's a good spread.
It's a good spread, and he didn't have to hold the House of Congress. In fact, the case has been made that the reason he didn't focus on the House runoff in 2018 was because most of the old Rhino, you know, the more lefty Republicans, they were just set to retire and get the hell out of there anyway, and he didn't need them to really. You don't need them to appoint judges. You know, you don't need the House of Representatives for a lot of things. And he between him and the Senate, as long as he held the Senate, between him and the Senate, they could veto anything that came from there anyway. So he had them stopped. There was no blue wave in 2018. They actually managed to hold them back pretty well.
Okay, so I'm seeing it here. So this thing just refreshed. The numbers have changed. Like the numbers actually changed now. Like this thing, I don't know why this thing's on a. It's actually moving on its own. You know that?
Oh yeah, it must be a live spreadsheet.
Okay. Let's check the last 14 days. So everything looks flatlined for the last 14 days, but Biden's still in the lead, man. Yeah. Interesting. Let's look at the last 30 days. Yeah, nothing's really fluctuating here. But I'm just looking here through different areas here. It's going to be I think no one's going to pay attention to I think people will pay attention to the Canadian politics this time. This October elections. I think a lot of Canadians will be paying attention to see if Trudeau gets reelected. And
I think so.
A lot of people will be paying attention to see if Trump gets reelected.
Oh, for sure. So
there's going to be a lot of attention, especially on Canada too, because right now Canada is on hinge to lose everything it was, you know.
Oh, it's not good. It's really not good here right now. But you're already seeing a pushback, right? You're seeing basically a blue wave from coast to coast. I don't know what will happen in BC at our next election, but I think the NDP will be a one and done for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, no one believes in liberal. The liberals are going to have liberals, and the Democrats. They're going to have a really tough time, like being, people trusting them anymore for a long time.
Yeah, they've kind of proven that they're the same old game, right? And people don't want the same old game because it's starting to hurt them now, right? Like wages have not kept pace. I mean, all this talk about economic recovery and people's wages are just. They have not kept up with inflation, especially with housing where it is. And now people are beginning to find out from your channel and others that part of the reason that housing is so unaffordable in these built up areas is because of all this money that came flooding in with everybody looking the other way and scooping up all this real estate that's sitting empty.
$200 billion in laundered money through real estate in Canada?
Yeah, just sitting there empty, and it cranked up the price in every neighborhood.
Yeah, it turned a lot of Canadian cities, Australian cities, New Zealand cities, UK cities, and Western American cities into empty shells.
That's right. Yeah, large areas that are just sitting empty. And the problem with that is that now that people are realizing that, they're realizing that most of that price increase of the last 4 or 5 years was just because of those relatively small number of housing units, but a large number anyway in the built-up areas that caused everybody else's price to rise. And now they're finding out that it had nothing to do with people, moving to Canada and living in these places. They were just stashing their money overseas. So they bid up the price of all this real estate. So the true value of the real estate is already, as we've said already on here many times, it's probably 25-30% higher than it should be just because of that. Mm-hmm. But high prices usually leads to, you've got the impression that there's enormous demand. So now you've got this building frenzy going on. Oh my God, prices are high, right? Well, the prices were high because the places were just being built to sit empty. Well, now that foreign money is starting to dry up or being diverted elsewhere. Yeah. Now you've got all this new supply coming on market, and the prices are not going to be where they are right now in a few years.
Okay, but where those prices, where the money's being diverted to right now as we speak?
Where?
Gold. Chinese right now, remember that video I did 9 hours ago, Chinese buying gold frenzy?
Yes.
Well, I talked to Shanghai Larry, and he told me he had to go to Macau to call me that bullion, gold, and silver dealers had to close early the last 2 days because they're running out of stock.
Yeah, that's going to have a huge effect on the price going forward. Yeah. Right. I mean, you've got managed prices for gold and silver and all kinds of other commodities too. Because you've got to disguise inflation somehow. But what winds up happening is that you get to a place where you start running out of supply. Mm-hmm. It's still gonna go to the highest bidder. Well, if the highest bidder is China and India and these traditionally precious metals oriented places, plus all this gold that's being bought by central banks, you're going to reach a point in time where you're going to have a serious supply shortage, and then prices are going to blow. like sky high. Now, where the derivatives are concerned, it's not that big of a deal, because if you just own an ETF or a gold certificate, well, they can print money. You can settle those contracts in cash. But if you want physical delivery, those premiums are going to go through the roof. And at that point in time, the controls come off.
Okay, and
It won't work.
ready for this? Local Chinese citizens paying 30% over spot gold. What does this remind you of? It reminds you of the housing market, how Chinese are paying anywhere from 200 to 300% over on real estate of a house.
Oh yeah, they're looking to get their money out of the system. I mean, the debt.
And that's why there's a gold buying frenzy right now in China as we speak.
Yeah, gold and silver both.
How much do you want to bet, Supreme Cannon? You're going to see other channels copy this story I did 9 hours ago, Chinese buying gold frenzy. Because I got the inside scoop with Shanghai Larry, and he told me what was going on. No one else, unless they live in mainland China, have a way to call somebody outside that has a YouTube channel that speaks English. It's very almost slim to none. But I got this story out. This is like, I could actually say a couple of stories. Maybe of the 3,000 videos I did, maybe 2 or 3 are stories that I've leaked or found.
Yeah.
But this is a big deal. When people are paying 30% over spot and they're bidding on gold prices at the bullion dealer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you've got a run on it there. There's a major run. I mean, gold right now in Canada is $2,000 an ounce Canadian right now. You know, it's you know, because the currencies. That's the thing. All of the currencies are sinking. We're into this beggar thy neighbor cycle again, where everyone is trying to devalue their dollar, you know, against the U.S. dollar mainly. And Trump is yelling at Jerome Powell to do the same thing to the USD, but you know, they're not moving very fast.
We got Low Roller Scratcher saying Money GPS is watching your channel, Mike Martins. I've had a lot of people say that to me, that this the Money GPS, there's another channel, I think they're like a finance channel or something.
Yeah, Money GPS, David Quintieri, I think. Yeah, he's got a couple of books, and yeah, he runs a channel. He's got a lot of disaster porn on there. You know, hey Lord Humongous, how you doing, brother? It's you know, it's like this week things are going to collapse, or next week things are going to collapse. I think of guys like Peter Schiff, who I actually have a lot of respect for, and you know, and Bull Polney, guys like that, saying, yeah, this fall it's going to blow, or you know, this year, you know, the Shemitah or whatever. Like, I've been watching this stuff for 4 years. Quite frankly, I think they recycle the same headlines after a while. But that's how you get views on YouTube. Let's face it, everything's got to be sensational, right? Like, you get so jaded after a while. Yeah, no, if you've got someone in Shanghai on the ground saying 30% premium, well, that's going to start spreading elsewhere. You've got a lot of gold that might have been diverted to other places. They're going to start going to Shanghai. The supply is going to go where the people are paying the most money.
Yeah, there's a lot of people telling me that my a lot of my stuff they're seeing on other financial channels. They're like, they see it with me first. I get less than 300 views on my channel, but the thing is, a lot of people tell me, and they send me links to Supreme. I look at the link and I'm like, wait a minute, that's exactly what I was saying in my video like a day before. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand. But the thing is, if I take something from another channel, you know, I always bring up either Peter Schiff, Max Kaiser, Gerald Salente. I always bring up Walking Journey. It doesn't matter. I was looking at what was Uneducated Economist channel. He was talking about this. I don't take nothing for myself that someone else's. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, as long as there's an accreditation, you know, as long as someone's giving you credit for the content that they're playing, that's fine. You know, I don't think you mind that, and you certainly don't mind, you know, giving credit where it's due to other people, right?
But I never get ever mentioned ever in anything.
Yeah, well, these channels are several multiples larger than yours. Maybe they figure they can get away with it, or, you know, you pull something off Zero Hedge. Well, I think every one of these guys reads Zero Hedge, so they have their own take on it.
Well, basically, no, I don't care about the Zero Hedge stuff. I'm talking about some of the stuff I get, like, actually. Yeah. You know, like stuff I kind of, I don't want to seem like I'm some forensic reporter or something, because I'm not.
No.
You know, I just want to, you know, I just want credit to be taken where credit is due, you know, once in a while, you know. Like, I bring up Forma Fist all the time. I bring up, uneducated economists. I bring up Waptech once in a while when he's up. Mark Dice once in a while. David Eichel, once in a blue moon when I talk about something I've overheard him talking about. Paul Joseph Watson, all these guys.
Yeah, I see Raven asking about Jim Willey here. Jim Willey is a smart guy, obviously. I kind of lump him in the same as like Jim Rickards and Peter Schiff. He's been predicting meltdown for 10 years. I think I actually subscribed to the Golden Jackass for a while. He probably has some sources and some inside track, but good God, his timing is about the same as everybody else's. Yeah, I don't know. Like it would be a good source of information if you were starting from zero, but after a while, you have to take 4 or 5 of these guys and then try to triangulate your own opinion from it, because if you followed one of them, I don't think you'd get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Like you're taking stuff from all kinds of sources. So I think you're doing it kind of the same way that I would do it. Mm-hmm. So I just prefer to watch yours because you're monitoring everything and you're kind of doing the same thing that I was doing. Mm-hmm. I think we're pretty much simpatico.
So people saying that their silver miners are skyrocketing. I'm just reading the comments on one of the videos today that I did, that China's paying 30% over spot, which is huge in gold. And it shows, there's a lot less silver on the planet than there is gold. A lot of people don't know that.
No, they don't, and they should know that, because the price of silver compared to gold, especially in the monetary sense, is ridiculous. Plus, silver is, they say, well, it's a commodity, it's an industrial commodity. Well, that's right, and it's used in everything. It's used in medicine. It's used in electronics and electrical components. The EU has a mandate that all of their, electric switches and things like that have to have silver solder. Well, they use a lot of that stuff.
Like the Raven said earlier, if everybody in China bought a toaster, we'd have no silver on the planet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and the thing is, they use such small quantities of silver in each item that even if the price quadrupled overnight, it would not really bump the price of any particular, industrial item that we buy. So the price doesn't need to be that low. But I think for some, and I admit I don't even know why, but silver seems to be even more intensively managed than gold, and I don't even really understand why.
I don't think we're meant to.
Yeah, no, obviously not. No, they call it conspiracy. Well, hello, rich people get behind closed doors to do something for reasons that we don't know about. That's a conspiracy. You get a bunch of people together to throw somebody a surprise birthday party. It's a conspiracy. Conspiracies are part of the natural world. Like, they're not even controversial,
Yeah, that's yeah. Yep. Mike of the Night with Supreme Cannon. Okay, so winding down, I'm going into my second hour, and I'm getting, it gets tiring just sitting here talking for endless.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't doubt it, yeah.
2 hours is good for me, and my channel is getting there, even though my channel's like shadow banned or whatnot, or having a really tough time getting my channel out there. Anything, my viewer watch. I went from 1.7 minutes watched per month to 400,000.
Yeah, they're just winding it down. But like I said last time, that's the data that they're giving you. Yeah. The number of people watching your stuff is probably going to be the same, but you're not going to get, the benefits from it that you should. But I think at least partly, like I've said before, I don't think YouTube's making a lot of money, and they've got to shuttle a lot of it to the people that are making the money. So PewDiePie, or the guy pouring gravy down his pants or whatever, they're gonna get fully monetized because people will watch ads on their channel.
Right.
But smaller ones like yours, particularly if the algorithms, find keywords that they don't like, I think it's just happening on automatic. I think they're just automatically demonetizing and throttling back. But that doesn't mean the same number of people aren't watching your stuff. Because your subscriber count hasn't gone down.
No, it's actually quadrupled in the last 6 months.
Yeah, like you've done great. Yeah, so it just shows 10K on the screen here. Is the actual number getting close to 11?
Yeah, it's getting close to 11, but my viewers, the views on my average video is anywhere from 800 to 3,000. So it's kind of weird that I'm getting more views than ever, but I'm still getting less on what they're telling me.
Yeah, Yeah, so your subscriber count has gone up, even though, according to them, your views have gone down by, 2/3 or something like that at times. So yeah, they're lying to you. You're doing fine. You know, the message is getting out there, and they haven't throttled you. I don't know what happened a couple of weeks ago where they just flat out, took your stream offline, but it was completely offline, but it was only for 6 or 8 minutes, and then it was restored, and it seems to be running fine tonight. Even my Skype isn't giving me any trouble yet. Touch wood.
But you know what? It could have been because I got that guy on from Argentina.
Yeah.
And he's telling us what's happening in Argentina. Here we go, guys. Food prices soar in Argentina as peso devalues. Argentina peso ends higher after central bank sells its dollars. And then we got the fires in the Amazon right now happening. I'm going to take a look at... I'm going to watch the RTP news, guys. If you really want to know what's happening in Amazon, you want to go to this channel here, RTP. Unfortunately, it's in Portuguese. I don't know if they translated, but it does talk... this one here is really good at talking about what's happening with the Brazil rainforest, and a lot of the Brazil news stations won't cover it, but the one in Portugal has their own reporters there in Brazil. Yeah. So they're covering it really well. So
I've seen a lot of commentary on those wildfires on Twitter today, and Gab and some other channels. It's a normal year. It's not that big of a deal, and a lot of the fires are actually areas that were already cleared for agriculture. They're just burning off the top cover. Plus when they talk about Brazil, the Amazon rainforest goes through, basically everything west of the Andes. So you're talking northern Argentina, you're talking Paraguay and Peru, and you're talking, Venezuela, Colombia, Guyana. It's just an enormous landmass, and they're only talking about Brazil. So that's probably politics.
It is politics. Here we go. A total of 68 people today were detained. This is from 11 minutes ago. So 68 people right now in Hong Kong have been detained for protests.
Yeah. Well, considering that they have a brutal communist dictatorship just north of the border, and you got 1.7 million people, I think, on that peak day out on the streets, that's not a big number. I wouldn't want to be one of them, and my heart goes out to them, and I salute them for their bravery, man, because they got to understand what they're dealing with, and if they don't, well, they're going to learn. Yeah. But it's the Chinese, I think, are trying to save face right now, and they can't. That's the problem. They can't back off. That's not how it works in Asia. They got to save face. Plus, the idea that the Communist Party has iron control over everybody in the country is a myth. They've got 100 different nationalities there, and a lot of them are probably more sympathetic with the Kuomintang in Taiwan than they are with the communists in Beijing, and they're not fans of them. They were able after Tiananmen Square to pacify people by permitting private investment and just let's everybody just get everybody rich, right? Or at least make them believe that they could get rich. Let's face it, that's how they keep the revolts from happening here.
Mark Park is asking in the comment section, can we deport or is it impractical? Nope. Canada's deported more Portuguese speaking people or people from Portugal than any other culture. By far. Yeah. I'm talking about like 40,000 Portuguese deported.
Yeah, they've got favored groups they want coming over here now, and Europeans are definitely not one of them. They should have been offering asylum to South African farmers.
Here we go. Canada launches crackdown on illegal Portuguese immigrants. This is older news. This is from 2006, 7, 8, and 9. Deported Portuguese families. Canada launches crackdown on illegal Portuguese. They only just hit the Portuguese only, and for some reason, Canada, family living in Canada being deported to Portugal. So just when they say, oh, Canada can't deport, oh yes, Canada could deport. Even the channel here, the Mercer Report, Portuguese being deported. Immigrants, Portugal immigration detention profile. Oh, so many Canadians, Portuguese Canadians deported back to Portugal. Tens of thousands. Yeah. The president of Portugal in 2007 actually went actually spoke to the Prime Minister of Canada is saying, can you at least let them go home and pack a bag? Because construction workers and workers that, were being taken from work and put on an airplane with chalk or drywall dust all over them.
Yeah, and loading them on a plane and sending them back to Portugal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it's ridiculous.
So right here, Tories begin deporting illegal workers. Portuguese embassy in Ottawa is overwhelmed with Portuguese deportees. Oh, this just goes on and on. Yeah, they call it a mass purging here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you had the political will, you could deport all kinds of people.
So there's
no question. We just don't have it here.
Yeah, but so there you go, Mark Park. We could deport. They did it to the Portuguese, and they've done it big time. And you know what they did for the children?
What's that?
The teachers would hold the students back in the gymnasiums until 2-3 in the morning, till the parents came in with paperwork. And if they weren't 100% legit, they would actually be put on the plane that night.
Jeez.
Last time that was done was when Hitler held back all the Jewish kids.
Yeah, it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
So they did it in 06, 07. So if people are worried about Canada deportation,
yeah. Well, and if Rick Mercer, was able to do his segment on This Hour Has 22 Minutes on CBC, and it wasn't censored or throttled, then either things have really changed since then, like gotten worse, which to me is arguable, because even in the 80s and 90s they weren't that great, or there was some other reason these people were deported. It might have had something to do with the building trades. If these people were illegal, they were undocumented or whatever they were, or they were just there on short-term visas, then it's entirely possible that the building trades in Toronto and places like that said, we want them gone. And they just asked the the government of the time and said, these people are taking our jobs, get rid of them.
Here we go. 3 generations of the Sebastian family who came to Canada for a better life were completely deported. All of them. Mass purges. Look at the family crying in the photo. Yeah,
3 generations. Yeah. Well, it should be pointed out that, a lot of these families in the United States have been undocumented for more than that.
But the funny thing is, why the Portuguese?
I don't know why they were singled out. That's actually news to me. I never did hear of that.
Oh, this was going on for years.
No
they were putting them tens, if not, they're averaging about 40 to 65,000 were deported in a span of 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to Google it sometime. There had to have been a reason why they were singled out. My suggestion is, if they were there working mainly in construction, then possibly the building trades just said, get them out of here. Or railroaded them or gaslit them as undercutting good jobs or something like that. It had to have been an economic reason. Otherwise, why would anybody care? Unless you had somebody in Ottawa at that time who was just so anti-European that they just anybody that came in that wasn't third world, they didn't want them. Like you've seen an article you've shown on your show a couple of Saturdays now about Canada wants more Chinese immigrants. Well, no, Canada doesn't want more Chinese immigrants. Ottawa wants more Chinese immigrants, and they're not saying why.
Well, they bring in money. They're competing for rich investors, right?
Well, they're competing for rich investors, yeah, and they probably want to. Portugal's a pretty small market. China is not. So if they wanted to improve trade relations with China, well, then they would want to open up the West Coast rather than the East. But that's still no reason to, throw however many thousand Portuguese out. How many total were deported? Do you know?
Like they said, 40 to 60,000 were deported.
Unbelievable. It
says here, look at this, from February 8, 2019. Man's family facing deportation to a country they never lived in, Portugal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's brutal. Like, that's just unheard of.
Oh, but it's Portuguese, it's okay. So now when they keep bringing this stuff up all the time in Canada, saying, oh, this and that, we can't... hello? I'm in the back of the class putting up my hand. No. Yeah, Canada deports tens of thousands. They come and get you at work and put you on a plane. They don't give you time to
Yeah.
change your clothes.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not like everybody that gets over the 49th parallel from the States or wherever gets to stay here either. I mean, it's kind of a revolving door here too. I mean, people get deported, I think, on a fairly regular basis, but a whole group like that en masse, that's pretty unheard of. And obviously, you know, CBC wouldn't. I mean, Rick Mercer talked about it, but it probably wouldn't be on the news. So I don't know, unless there's some historical reason or there's some economic reason why they didn't want them here, or somebody didn't want them here. They were probably gaslit. It probably had some. It was a political or economic reason.
It was.
There was no other reason for them to be gone.
Yeah, there's no even the Mercer report makes fun of it too. Because he had to make fun of it because he couldn't make it serious, right?
Oh, a comedy is about the only way you get the truth out anymore. Yeah, but I don't remember ever seeing it on the news or hearing about it at any other time. So yeah, that's pretty unprecedented.
Yeah. So I'm always going to be at the back of the class every time they bring up, oh, Canada never deports a lot. I'm going to be in the back of the class every time, putting my hand up.
Yeah. Well, your mom and dad came over from there though, didn't they? Or from the Azores?
Yeah, of course, from the Azores. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're coming in now, or at least some are. So it's
it's not that they closed immigration in '94 to Europe as a whole, except France, and then they started cracking down. But they only got the Portuguese though.
Yeah, well, yeah, they probably wouldn't have bothered, a lot of British citizens, because there's a lot of people from the UK living here. There's a lot of Swiss and German money and Austrian money being spent up in northern BC too. So they've been here for a while. I mean, they've all got thick accents, so they're not second or third generation. They're definitely new, but they're bringing money, so that's probably part of it.
Here is one of the first Portuguese to set foot in Canada. Right here is his picture, Matthew da Costa.
Yeah, another one.
And there's this. Wow, they have actually like not a photo, but a photo rendition of what he looked like. Matthew da Costa.
Matthew da Costa.
Yeah.
He must have been from the Caribbean originally.
No, probably somewhere in Portuguese Africa.
Oh, right, yeah.
But there was no divide. So if this guy's from Angola didn't exist, it was New Portugal, right? So
that's right.
He was a Portuguese citizen. It didn't matter what color his skin was. It doesn't matter. He's Portuguese, right?
Yeah. Well, Mozambique too, right?
Yeah, and Portuguese, Mozambique and Macau. Yeah. That's why I got Buddy going over to Macau to call me Shanghai Larry. He doesn't live in Shanghai. I'm saying like they call him Shanghai Larry.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's one of my informants in China that's giving me the whole, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What about Goa
That's Portuguese India.
Yeah, that's right. Are there still Portuguese there? Or
yes,
did they
lots.
All run?
Yeah, there is. And Goa is now doing a retreat plan to bring it back to what it was in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, the government in that state actually sent a lot of money to that state to actually rebuild it and refurbish the churches and everything. Right.
Yeah, because I knew when I lived up north, there was a fella. He was obviously an Indian, but his name was D'Souza. He was, he was getting back more in touch with his, what he considered to be his Hindu roots. But yeah, his family was from Goa, and so that makes sense.
Here he goes. The Portuguese top 5 churches, the Goa churches right here. Portuguese churches in Goa. The Portuguese built all of these. This is the one of the most famous ones that you see pictures of everywhere. Portugal built one similar to this in Macau.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you could see it there, but it's a beautiful church. There's quite a few beautiful churches in India, but they're all in Goa though.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't be anywhere else. I mean, there might have been some Protestant ones from the British Raj, but that would have just been in a very small communities in some of the large cities. I don't think there'd be a lot there anymore. Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, that just goes to show you that things don't just go one way. Like sometimes they roll back and go the other way. There's a lot of people in Europe, and I know there's a lot of people in the Anglosphere that would like things to go back, not to the 50s, but they'd like them to go back like the 60s or 70s. It's just where things made sense, and it was still it was still family and community oriented. It wasn't the brutalist architecture and the ridiculous, progressivism. Like I said, progressivism jumped the shark in the 80s and 90s. It just went completely off the chain, and things don't change overnight. But a lot of people are just sick of it because it's not making people happy anymore. They're realizing that their countries are getting sold out from underneath them, and they still remember their grandparents and whoever came over to build the place and fight in the wars and endure the depression. And now you got people in Ottawa saying that we're no more Canadian than somebody that literally got off the plane yesterday. Yeah, that ain't gonna fly. That is not gonna fly.
There's a lot of fighting going on in the comments. I need everyone to retard their anger, please.
Yeah.
Everyone, bring back your anger, please. Stop, hating on each other, please.
Yeah. Ride Hunter, dude. It's not that big a deal, man.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not worth this. And the talking points were edgy about 2009, frankly, brother. We pay taxes because we want to live here, not go to jail. Mm-hmm. Right? Call us sheep, call us what you want. We do it for that reason. Yeah, you did make one point. Leaf, you're a moderator, dude. Be moderate, please.
Yeah, moderate. Sorry, it's Lord Humongous. Woo!
Woo! Yeah, come on, man. It's all right. Let's have peace here, guys. Let the war be outside.
Yeah. But
it's about freedom of speech here. I mean, he's saying things, but yourself, the things he's saying, they were edgy 10 years ago. They're not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care, man. Come back later. Come back another time, man.
It's okay. We're all
love
good
here. We're all on the same side here. We're trying to figure this out, guys. We're brainstorming. We know it's bad out there. We know things aren't what they should be, and we're trying to figure out how to make it better in our little part of the world. That's the way I see it. We're all pinging off each other, and we're trying to find our tribe, man.
That's all we're trying to do.
We're looking for our tribe.
That's it.
Yeah,
all right.
It's all up here.
I'm gonna let you go, Supreme, because it's like 11:20, and I'm really tired.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, you betcha.
We'll talk soon, buddy.
Yeah, sure. Chin up, everybody. God bless. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
And guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, get over here and subscribe. Be part of the community here. It's small. We got 10,761 subscribers. Come on, and if you want to support the transmission as basically as possible, go and share a video. I don't care. Go to my channel, share something. I don't care what you share. A couple of good ones. Chinese buying gold frenzy. Guys, take a look at this one. This one's kind of important. Even though my lips don't meet the audio in the go out and share this video if you can. This is actually a big deal. Another one is new red meat tax. Everyone's all freaking out about. Everyone is freaking out about carbon tax. Well, look at the new red meat tax they're going to put in. Yeah. Yeah, we got eBankU in the comments. PMO for life, buddy. Can't read Market Talk is my new show. In the mornings, I do a show now. Can't read Market Talk, and we had Mario De Settis on this morning from Italy, giving us a showdown on what's happening. And if you guys want to be number 15 of my Patreon supporters, you could donate $1 a month for coffee. Here it is, guys. If you want to donate for coffee, please go ahead and be my 15th Patreon supporter, $1 a month. And before we log off, I want to thank everyone for watching, and also I want to, my dad, want to thank him for everything. And also I want to say a famous quote, and I'm going to be saying this a lot. Your life, you only take one thing with your life when you pass on, and it's your memories. So make good memories while you're on this earth. That's from my dad, Antonio Martins, who passed away a month and a day ago. And you know what? He's right. You only take the good memories when you go. So make good ones, people. Love each other, okay? Please. God bless. Thanks for watching. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you're watching this on replay, which you probably will be, or listening to it and you're a long-haul trucker, thanks for supporting me and putting me on that trucker forum there somewhere in Mississippi. I appreciate that for putting that. Thanks, guys. It's all love. It's easy to love. It's a love, love, love. Lord Humongous, woo! Don't forget to feed the ravens. And we'll get it all sorted over time. Anyways, thanks so much, guys.